I found that Rezi was really helpful in kind of organizing everything for me. I didn't really understand like the ATS kind of screening or anything. Like even kind of like putting numerals in and like stats like in your resume. I didn't really know that until I had Rezi kind of point that out for me. So that was really nice to have that tool. And I also like didn't know really the components of a resume in general. Like, yeah, I knew the basics of like put what your job experience is, but I didn't know like the layout, like in terms of like where to put education, should I put the under, over, job history, and like skill wise, like what would be like most useful, and like where to put it. Even I like didn't know putting LinkedIn in the heading. It was very helpful. And I think also like word count and kind of like even though I majored in design, designing like I guess a resume was also very much of a struggle. Like, oh, like how do I appeal to like my audience? I guess I always kind of wanted like a more like, oh, like colorful, like kind of like resume. And I'm like, oh, that's not the ones that stand out the most. I really liked kind of like the overall score of like your resume. I thought that was helpful. I eventually kind of made like a one, like a standard kind of resume that I've been sending out. But before that, I would like copy and paste like specific like job descriptions for jobs that I particularly like really wanted a response from. And I think kind of using like kind of keywords from the job description, putting that in my resume was really helpful. And after kind of seeing like a bunch of marketing, like project management jobs, I kind of knew what, oh, like the common kind of keywords were just from having Rezi kind of like analyze like different job descriptions. So that kind of helped me create kind of like a master resume that I ended up setting out like this time around. And yeah, and also kind of like just analyzing, being like, oh, like having like stats was super helpful. That's something I definitely didn't know before. And kind of like what kind of action phrases. I think also like correct me if I'm wrong, but Rezi also told me like, oh, like what were like kind of words that were overplayed, like kind of like I forgot what the term for them is.
Yes, buzzwords.
Yeah, buzzwords. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
exactly. And have like taking those out, and so making everything sound way more professional was really great. It definitely made it way smoother. I felt more confident in general, kind of sending my resume with Rezi out, and I did get a lot of positive responses. And especially when, like, from media, like moving into the tech industry, it was like especially difficult. I feel like to get responses just because my experience wasn't really in the tech space at that point, and kind of structuring things in a way that would appeal to like a different industry was like very helpful with Rezi, and I got a lot more responses than I ever thought that I could have. So that was really encouraging. And yeah, I think even when I first used Rezi like as a new grad, like with almost like with very little like job experience, like only really internships, it helped me kind of structure my story in a way that I was able to get a lot of positive responses.